Okay, so this is SubLight by Spacewoot, which is actually Woot with 2 zeros instead of O's, I believe. Look him up on Twitter, he's pretty awesome. And what we've got here is the start, which is basically a galaxy generator. I looked at this quite a little while ago for a Feedback Friday when he was trialling out different shapes, and I'm pleased to see that's down here. You can see there's a regular and elliptical and spiral. I'm not sure what the seed button does here, so I'm just going to whack in a random number. Why the hell not? Okay, that's probably not what I was expecting. Ah, right, fantastic. Yeah, so that's giving me a random number, and check out that for a galaxy, that's pretty sweet. It seems to have some different game modes up here. I'm seeing Sandbox, Voyage, Exodus, Survive and Messenger, and I'm seeing different difficulty ratings. I haven't even succeeded in anything yet, so let's go with easy. So I'm just going to leave it on Sandbox, and we're going to hit done. We're going to jump straight into it. What we see at the start is basically a loadout sort of configuration screen. When I previously played this, it had a lot less options. I'm just going to turn this music down. It's pretty awesome, but we're just going to go down a notch. Anyway, and so what we've got here are 3 different slots. Basically, only the rear one can be the booster jet, as far as I know, which should turn up when I move the mouse over it. It doesn't turn up when I change the arrows, which is a bit of a bummer, but it does turn up when I move the cursor onto the actual unit. So I've got a Chemex 1, which is basically jet engine as far as I can tell. We've got all the stats down here in the bottom right and a little description. In the middle I've got a standard truss, which to be honest doesn't look like it does much, so I don't think that's a useful thing to be doing. We've got a gap. Oh no, that's the jet engine. You can't have one in the middle. Too bad. What we've got here are inflator habs, which are basically everything. Amount of protection for your crew, few windows so they don't really boost morale, and I think it stores crew, so let's just go with that. And on the front I'm just going to whack one of these things. It's a star skipper. I've played around with it a bit in the past, but these modules are a little bit refined, or they don't quite look like what I had in the previous runs, so I can't see any way to increase or decrease these, and I'm within budget, so I'm just going to smash the launch button, and I get this map here, which basically says here are these different stars and what their distances are. LY standing for light years, I'm guessing. So pretty much I'm going to go for the nearest one, so I click on that. The progression isn't too bad. When I actually last played this, you got presented with sort of a 3D star field, so this seems like a step back graphically, but it's a bit better UI wise. So I didn't quite even make that, so let's try again. I'm just going to take the default galaxy, and I really don't like trusses. Circle of Life farm. Let's go with that, and I'm not even going to have one of those. I'm going to go with one of these, which is an octus habitat. So I'm just trying different things here. We'll put one of those on the back, and oh, that one's nice and close, but I believe that's our home star, so we'll go for something else. 3.7, 4.1, yeah, 309, and I didn't even get anywhere. Obviously I just didn't have any kind of thrust, so I'm going to try one more. Keep roughly the same. I mean, there aren't that many modules at the moment, so we're just going to go with that and try that. So yeah, I haven't particularly read up on this, so at the moment I'm just kind of mashing buttons. Still didn't get anywhere. Obviously Spacewood's going to have a word with me about reading his descriptions. Hopefully I'm not putting him to shame too much. Let's try this one. So at the moment, part of the fun for me comes from seeing all the different combinations, and I'm kind of wondering where he's going to go with all the different sort of modules that he could have. I don't know whether he's planning on bringing conflict into it, whether he sort of wants to have wars or anything like that. Anyway, so you can see, almost made it there. We'll try one more run, and I'm just going to whack in 2 of the habitats. I figure if I've got more population, or at least room for it, then maybe I'll be able to store a little bit more. I highly suspect that 3 of the inflato habs is not going to go anywhere at all, so we'll try this. Obviously, so where did I find out about this? This I've actually been watching on Feedback Friday on Reddit for a while, and I follow Spacewood on Twitter. He's a good guy, and so typically that's where I've found this game. I've seen it at least twice before, but in the past I've never been able to actually make it to another planet like I just did, or solar system. So now I've made it to another star. Let's try for another one. I highly suspect that you actually get a bit more mission sort of stuff in another game mode, so I'm just going to jump into something else other than sandbox for the next run. We'll see how we go with this. I'd like to see a bit more information here. Obviously we've got distance to the star that we're aiming for, but I'd like to see sort of population readouts. Tell me what's going wrong with it. At the moment it's kind of a black box. I'm pushing this cube around and I'm imagining things, but I don't quite know why I've failed in the last mission, so I'm still just choosing modules randomly. So I'd like to see a little bit more UI come up, which I think he's got planned anyway. So it's my understanding that the music is new and it's pretty damn good. I like it so far. So I've made it to 3 stars now, so I'm doing pretty well. I think that this ship will basically now be pretty impenetrable. If it's made it to 3 stars, I don't see it having any sort of problems getting to basically anywhere from here. So I'm just going to zoom in. Yep, and there we are. So I think that from here I'm basically set. I can't even remember what combination of modules that was anyway, so that's a bit of a bummer. But yes, it's coming along. At the moment it just sort of needs to be telling me you failed, but here's why, and then I can sort of improve from there and give me a few more options for modules and so on and so forth. Anyway, so that is SubLight by Spacewood, and we'll move on to the next game. Thanks guys.